Hey guys, we're gonna do some pre-recorded matches. This is gonna be the last of our placement games, as well as I believe our first ranked match of the season, past placement. So we're playing against Triple Z. He's playing as Byzantines. We're playing on what is this map? Gorge. This map is interesting, definitely interesting. So my stone and gold both spawn forward. And for him, they're both pretty much 4-2. So this is one thing I think I'm going to like about this map is that the resource nodes are fairly exposed. This is a possibility that you want to put your town center up here to protect both of these. If you're thinking of like playing against a more aggressive civ, right? Maybe in a Mongol mirror. But it's never a bad thing to have a really nice woodline. Nice and secure, so it's a possibility for this map though for sure. So I've been really busy working on like Byzantine type of a build, not having a lot of luck on a kind of a theory build that I'm working on. But I think it's got viability maybe in lower elos. I think in higher elos it's going to be a little bit rougher. But you guys kind of know my build already. It's just Fast H2, Mangadire Keshik, and we're going against the Byzantines, and they're going for this Dark Age stone play, which I honestly, I mean, it scales decent, but I don't think it's. I think it's a little bit too slow of a route. People should probably be getting it a little bit later, but he's getting his tier 2 cisterns getting ready to get going, and he's rushed it, so his age up time is going to be very affected. So we're scouting around our side of the map. We got a bunch of sheep, and he's kind of scouted his side. And we were kind of worried about maybe a Limatane spearman kind of a push, but just kind of went with it. Hope for the best. And we're starting to age up, and luckily he's not doing any aggression, just kind of doing a Dark Age, kind of a scaling kind of a build here. So our villager count is, it says 14, but he's getting 10% more, so he's getting 1.4 villagers more in resources right now. So he's chilling at 15 and a half villagers with the income. So he's a little bit ahead. The Ubu, though, is giving me 2 villagers of income as well. So his 15 and a half is 16 and a half, and I'm at 16. So, yeah, just the scaling, it's for the sacrifice of your age cost, it's kind of... It's got viability, but it's I don't think it's the true answer is, you know, rushing those cisterns. I mean, if you're playing a super defensive build, yeah, I guess. But if a civ can get really good aggression on you, I think it's a really dangerous play, because this is kind of like rushing your T1 eco upgrades, right? In Dark Age, not a lot of people are getting wheelbarrow before their age up, right? There's few builds that incorporated a wheelbarrow before the age up. Because it is like, sure, your eco is going to be good in scaling, right, and it's paying for itself off, but it's going to take a little bit. And same with the cisterns, right? They're going to take a bit. So we age up. We decided to go with our fast Keshik build, so stable's already getting produced and on the way. A little bit of misclick here with our guys sending him over to the stable. And he's getting his winery up, and he is rushing this outpost up because he did spot the stable coming up, right? But I know it's on the way. We're sending Keshik over. We're not going to be able to get there in time. We did see this tower going up as well, so decided to raid it anyways. But I should have raided his food, I think. One thing on this map is that the woodline is almost always going to be safe. It's going to be safe till about the... Well, it's probably going to be safe till about the 12-15 minute mark, so... Look for the gold, look for the stone, look for the food. We are getting our wheelbarrow now. And that's going to boost our eco a little bit more. This difference in villagers is still... He's barely like one villager ahead. But he's way behind on tempo and map control, right? He's building a racks, and I've got 2 Keshiks in his base idling 4 villagers. So that tempo that he had, or like he was storing up right now, he's got 4 idle villagers for this time. Like now my eco's actually pulling ahead. Yeah, and I can just keep harassing it, right? And this, I mean, they're building the barracks, but they're still technically idled. Over here, we're harassing here. We see this tower going up, so we're going to bring our Keshiks over to the tower. Harassing the gold is nice. Harassing this racks is actually even nicer. I probably should have just stayed and kept harassing the racks because I actually have Keshiks on the way, right? So, slowing down that racks a little bit more might have been the better play. He pulls the Acrotoid defense here, and these guys actually start doing some serious damage. So yeah, they chunk down my Keshik. I was surprised how good the Acrotoid defense does, right? 10 damage, and 2 armor, right? So now we're only doing 13 damage a hit. But once he uses it, it's got a cooldown, and yeah, while he's dealing with this, he's losing villagers over here, and now his villager lead, besides the idle villagers, right? Because he's got 6 idle, right? But right now, because this is all just because of tempo, right? Tempo. He's getting his first Limitane out now at 650. They're not over here fighting, and it's a tempo thing, right? 21 times 10%, you're talking about 2.1 villagers, so he's at 23.1. I'm at 24, 26 villagers, right? And I've got my wheelbarrow buff, so yeah. Once you get full T1 eco upgrades, this level 2 cistern basically doesn't mean anything if they don't get any of the T1 upgrades themselves. So some people are they're getting on the cisterns, and it's a little bit of almost over-reliance. So he pushes us back here, but I'm not too pressed about getting more damage in. Like, we're trying to, we idle here some more. All this idle time adds up to a significant amount of eco, right? So, but we're not too worried about overcommitting or pushing too hard here because these are now upgraded towers. They're going to be tough nuts to crack, and behind this I'm setting up trade, right? And that's kind of the key for the build is, behind the aggression is to start setting up a bunch of trade. He's getting mercenary company here. And that's the thing with the winery build, right? It's all about oil. He's at 432 oil. Now he's going to start cranking out mercenaries for oil. These are a lot of weak vills. So we got our first manga guys out on the field too now. A couple more in queuing up horsemen. Double markets up. First trader in production as well. We're going to bring our villager back, and we're going to send him across the map to start building a tower. We're going to see what we can find in terms of eco denial here. A lot of villagers on food, and he's got to commit to a lot of villagers on food because he's trying to make army to fight us, right? So we're able to snipe one villager. Barry kind of messes us up here, but I think we lose that one villager to tower fire no matter, or that one Keshik to tower fire no matter what. But trading a Keshik for all that idle time, a weak Keshik at that was already damaged, for a vill kill, a nice little raid, a little bit of damage here and there, and some good idle time. So we're happy with that. Trade is going off. We're at two traders, getting our blacksmith a little bit later than I would like, but we are getting it. We're also getting a horseman upgrade again. A little bit later than I'd like, but we're getting it, which will help. And yeah, we're just routing villagers on the wood at this point, and we pulled villagers. We're sending villagers over to this deer patch over here at the market because it's a little bit of a funky spot. He's gotten his mercenaries now, so he got his 5 longbows. Again, he's getting more oil together, and it takes a minute. You see, that's the thing about the mercenaries, right? It takes a minute for that oil to really start building up, right? To use it. So he's got this little. I mean, it's not a little army, right? Same size as ours, basically. It's actually probably, yeah, it's bigger. But army value wise, we're 4 times the cost almost, or yeah, 3 times the cost. Three and a half, right? Three and some change. So he's got to take some really good fights to make this work, and he's only got 5 limit time out here. Now, something we do kind of bad is we don't split our cav. Our cav should split onto these archers. Yes, our mangonite soak up quite a bit of damage, but it still would be better if we split them. At least the horseman though. So he knows he's gonna lose this fight significantly. He's lost a lot of vills. He's trying to establish, but he needed to win this fight and hold the map pressure, and he doesn't. So he just taps out real quick. So that was a really quick match. So we're gonna do the other 2 matches too because they're a little bit longer, a little bit better timing. So and then our next placement was against this man who's playing Japanese on Cliffside, and he was a conch. So let's go into caster mode. Cliffside is an interesting map. It's definitely an aggro map. The cliffs are kind of like make you feel a little bit like defensive, but it's not. It's actually an aggro map. One thing to note: stone outcroppings. You can't on some of these cliff ones. Like I know on this one I can't, and this one I can't. You can't build uvus. So some of these stone things are not actually good sites for uvus. Just to keep in mind as a Mongol player, you're gonna have to check those out. Some of those aren't gonna be viable. We spot his base immediately. We've got a good amount of sheep off a rip. We're at 4 sheep, and he's running around the sides here. So I think go up the gut is probably the best. There's always going to be a couple of sheep right there in the middle. There's actually a third one here that I miss. And build wise, he's gathering on gold. So this is kind of like just a standard fast age up is what it looks like. He's picking up sheep here. He misses these 3 actually, which is nice. This map seems in general a little bit like sheep heavy. I don't know if it's just normal sheep, but it seems sheep heavy, like you're running into sheep more often. But I do have to play a little bit more. I might have just been lucky. But I think we both have a pretty good, decent spread of sheep, right? He's got 5, I've got 7. I do miss him running into my TC a little bit. So the whistle didn't even register to me that he was close by, so I do kind of mess up a little bit there. There's no consequences. I hear it, but I didn't see it, so I didn't know where he was going to, where he was running. 8 up to 8, and he's up to 6. And there's nothing in the back here, and he's probably gonna just loop around. Opponent just a straight food and gold build. I think, yeah, he's got a lot of villagers queued up right now, so he needs to cancel some of those. And we're going to drop off our sheep here, and we're going to go scout around the other side of the map that we haven't seen yet. And our buddy is going to start canceling some of these villagers, I'm sure. I would guess. And I wanted to drop deer stones. I accidentally dropped my silver tree. So that's kind of a mistake on my part. I really didn't want to drop the silver tree. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a mistake on my part. And then I didn't realize until it was much later on. I thought it selected silver tree, and I thought I hit deer stones. And when I put it down, I looked at it, and I don't know why I thought that was deer stones still, so I had a total brain fart. Pretty tired. That's probably most of it. He does cancel up a bunch of these villages that he has in the queue. So he's dropping his Kuro Storehouse. He's dropping it with 5 vills, and we're dropping ours. Silver tree with 4, so we've got a little bit of a better time in here. for age up and against an aggressive civ, aggressive play. Age up and unit production is pretty paramount. They're going to speed this up. There isn't a lot happening in this part. Our opponent is starting to drop a tower, and we do see this when he drops a tower, so we know it's going to be a little bit tough to get in here and get some raids in. And we figured we were going to get rushed by Spearmen or Onobugesha and Samurai. And I really wanted to test out how my Mangadai do against them, so I just rushed Mangadai. And in retrospect, I needed to scout my opponent better and see what he was doing. Because all this farm eco is pretty much safe. Right? All this farm is going to be safe. His sheep are safe. He's on bears right now, but he can always transfer over. And he's got a tower in his gold. So now he's just a safe route to castle, right? So our Mangan are coming out. We run to a scout, take that out. But unfortunately, yeah, we're not able to get any real lethal damage here. We kind of push him off. Missed a little bit of opportunity to kill that one villager, but here's what it is. We weaken them a bunch and we push him under his TC. But here comes the problem, right? How are we going to get more damage in? And that's kind of the issue. I think that's something else, maybe against like Japanese or these kind of booming civs. Dropping a tower is probably not a bad solution by any means. Like dropping a tower on this wood line up here, he has to push out and fight you, right? So you drop this here, there's not much he's going to be able to do. And behind this is starting to look like a fast castle play, right? Because this is heavy gold, heavy wood, and no infrastructure. We are starting to trade just now, a little bit later. Not the best trade, only at 41, but we can make it work. And yeah, we can't raid because of this tower, right? Especially now since he's getting arrow slits. We spot the stable, we can't get the dive in there. We just gotta fall back. This is his screen right now, basically, right? This game, right? This is his screen. And anytime he sees something, he's just garrisoning. So it's a really safe way and easy way to play initially. Against infantry comps, expect a ram, right? Expect archers. So yeah, it's just with the all cav, it's a little bit more difficult. I can dive with my keshiks and stuff on the gold, but I think I end up overinvesting on my military and underestimating the damage that this TC was able to do. So we're going up to a big army, right? And like if we had rotated straight in and seen this, oh, we do see this, but we decide not to rush straight in. That's something that we should have done, right? But we decided to focus on the stone. And the issue is we're so heavy on Mangadai right now that our cavalry is taking forever to come out, and we only have one stable, and behind this we're trying to transition, get our trade going, right? So it's a rough spot. There's a lot of room in this TC and this outpost and the Kuro storehouse for villagers to gather in, right? To rally into. So he's able to get really safe in there. Again, in retrospect here, he's got 16 vills. Like, even if I raid this and delay this floating gate, basically the outcome would have been pretty much the same. Everything fits into here, right? Except for one villager can fit into here. So we just are harassing his wood line. Do lose a manga die. We see the stable, so we're expecting cavalry to be coming out, which it is, the mounted samurai, and he's making Yumi Ashigaru. Again, we're still ramping up. We know that he's making castle tech units, so we kind of have to commit to making units, otherwise we might just like die, like trying to go for castle. And I think honestly, in retrospect, that's probably what I should commit it to a little bit better. Since he is in castle, we know we need to deny as much gold as we possibly can. And we just stopped right outside of range here. So, take some damage. Not a really good trade for us to engage in, so we just fall back here. And yeah, I mean, we can fight those H3 knights, but since they're the samurai, they deflect one hit and everything. They fight really good against castle age, or feudal age knights. Like even French feudal age knights, because that charge bonus a lot of times is getting negated, right? Which is a big part of it. And in cat fights is the lance damage. Does the most, I'm pretty sure, yeah, 23 versus 15. So he's starting to catch up on army value, and the big thing is this army value too is safe army value. So he pushes across, and if we were back, we probably can take this with our army and wither down this army and get some serious damage in. And we kill a bunch of villagers here, but I mean, the amount of villagers we kill and the amount of villagers we're about to lose is not anywhere near the same. So he gets this raid in. Our units are heading over, but even though we're cav, it's going to take a while for us to get back here. And I pull my Keshik out as well. Behind this, he's just massacring units, alright? And I don't have any outpost space because I'm playing super greedy. Even though I've got 500 wood, right? So that's another thing. Especially when you see like stables going up as Mongols, drop a couple outposts in your base. It's going to avoid 10 villagers getting slaughtered. You know, so definitely a big deal. Our army finally shows up, but I mean, it takes a minute to get back over here, as you see. And we get the damage we can, and now we're just doing 1 damage here with each arrow shot because we didn't get our +1 steeled arrow upgrade. So we're getting it just now. Again, another big oversight while we're playing, and those little details definitely they add up significantly. So this one samurai is there, and I'm just like trying to kill these guys. 2 shots at a time, right? It's just terrible. TC finally kills him, but we lost 17 vills to that raid, and we've only killed 9 throughout this game. So we're definitely you might be able to say we're close to equal eco right now, but yeah, we're not in a good spot at all, right? So we're able to clean this up, and we need to go on the aggressive. But again, where are you gonna raid, right? Everything's gonna get garrisoned basically. So woodline is kind of like the one spot I'm gonna have to hit, but and the gold. We're trying to boom up, so we're gonna drop a couple more markets, and we're pushing it over and across. We want to hit that gold. We'll speed this up a little bit. Transition over to here, dropping a couple outposts. A big thing is too, we're way behind on a lot of our on some of our resources. Like in terms of like pastures, we don't have pastures, right? We're relying on hunted stuff. So our food eco, like it's really strong right now, but it's gonna dip. We don't have the infrastructure for more buildings. We don't have the gold. So yeah, all sorts of issues with our macro now. We're sitting in a weird spot. I probably could have sold some food here at this point and done something with it, but then I was trying to save up this food to for gold or for castle age, but again, yeah, that's not the right way to react to the situation, right? So we have better eco, but really he's got a much better food eco, and that's really important. Though he is only on 2 production buildings, gonna be enough for him to scale here. So we have him kind of penned in his base, but again, he does a really good job because you notice how bad our defenses were, and we've looked. This is our our secondary army. So when we're gonna wrap around and try to hit these deer, we're not gonna be in a good spot to really stop any push here. We have gone up to 2 stables, but we're making basically horsemen, just some chaff, and the issue is you can't really do that right in this scenario. So he starts making Onamusha um, with these samurais. It's gonna be a really rough fight for us to take. Um, if with really good kiting, the Onamusha are really strong. But the big issue is really more so that um, like our production and our income, like we're spending it on units so we don't die, right? We kind of have to spend on units so we don't die to a death push. And I'm trying to pull this army to the back here, and it's just gonna get us kind of like out of position, really. And we're mustering an army here, but it's all horsemen, right? There's not really a lot of strength to this army. Like this army trades out evenly with like 3 samurai. And he sends 1 lone samurai out here. It's pretty good timing. Gets us right in the middle of building this outpost and before this Ubu. Army's way out here. And yeah. We probably could have gone and tried to hit the gold behind this, but we bring our army forward to come help. I think taking up to this market was a really big misplay. I should have kept it closer to his base to get over here sooner. Separating my army as far as I did was a pretty big mistake. And then these guys over here get wiped, and these horsemen are all chasing 1 mounted samurai. And now we're in a really vulnerable spot, right? So 20 villagers at the 10. He's just gonna raid us, so we're gonna raid him. But yeah, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of builds here, but we're not gonna trade very well. Running through at that angle that we did. Our eco gets idled here. We're trying to drop a tower up here. We lose 2 vills. Again, pretty bad spot here. 23 villagers lost, and ecos like we're ahead, but yeah, we can't. It's not sustainable, right? And part of it is our infrastructure is kind of lacking, right, to play this properly. Like to catch up with inferior units and outproduce them, we got to get a bunch more in. So we finally commit to this gold burn down. It's something that I probably should have done sooner with that first attack. But you see, he pulled all these vills onto another gold. So if we had come in at a different angle, we could have done a much different type of attack and shut that down a lot more efficiently. Pretty much lose all this army, and at this point I would say that this game is definitely over. He's got a much better army value. I've got half of my eco idle, and yeah, over here we trade out, but yeah, it's pretty much over at this point. We're gonna scrap it out, push him back, try to get some more stable up. But at this point, there's really not much coming back from here, right? So we're pretty much pushed in and we're just dead, right? Everybody's idling. Food's starting to dwindle. I'm trying to force a transition to a totally kind of a base, but like my eco's lost a lot of its punch, and the big thing is now I'm on this 2,000 gold, which isn't very good. And then I do something pretty greedy, moving my market down, but trying to tap up a Kurultai. It's really desperation play behind the sacred sites. And out of everything, I don't think a Kurultai is going to flip this fight. There's probably a better chance with a step readout to get back into a match than a Kurultai. But I mean, he's got more eco, half my eco's idle, and I got what is this, like 25 to 1 army value? Like it's really rough, right? So we age up, and he's just gonna dive us, and we're just gonna tap out. this match felt like it kind of like slipped away from me. Like I had a bunch of opportunities, especially with the heavy resources that I had to even buy my way up to castle behind a bunch of that aggro. Especially since when he went up to castle, that was his play. So definitely a little bit of a match where I felt like I didn't play it to like the fullest potential. Um, After that match, we queued up again, and we got matched into the same opponent. He's still playing Japanese, and now we're playing on Golden Pit. This time, knowing his playstyle, as well as just kind of the situation like last game, and basically the player's playstyle, right? I'm going to do a better job of scouting what he's doing, and because he might try to do a different type of a play on me, right, than last time. And then the big thing is I wanted to drop my deer stones for one, and then I wanted to focus on scouting his base and getting Keshiks out to really harass his tower play that he might do, right? So because we traded last game, he sees that, and I think he switches up his build differently. Instead of for going for gold, now he's going for stone. So this is going to be a daimyo manor or a 2TC type of a play, right? So he's playing that much differently. He's got 6 villagers on stone. So we're dropping off here, and yeah, his scout's coming back. If we switch to vision real quick, yeah, neither one of us have scouted each other. But he's this is like a 2TC or a daimyo manor, right? It's massing stone up, and he's got plenty of gold that way. And we're just doing our past stage 2 here. Drop our deer stones. And so this is kind of where the things start to vary, right? So he's going to be able to spot us here shortly, right? He spots the deer stones this time and sees how different it is. And we're about to spot his base. And we'll see this in just regular time, right? I see villagers on food, okay. I see forage on gold. And I see barely any gold, right, has been taken for this gold. There's basically no way that he isn't going for a feudal play, right? Because nothing's hitting me, like in terms of aggro, right? So he's on stone, right? Over here, get a little bit careless. I do spot the other forge and I spot the stone, right? So I know this is going to be a 2TC kind of a play. So we're just riding around, seeing what we can see. We're going to come around the side and the front. We want to get a better idea. Try to scout here to see if this is woodline. We find that it isn't. We're aged up. Stable is almost done. And this is what I mean by making Keshiks instead of Megadite a little bit faster. Timing. And if he does any defensive plays, which he is doing, I'm going to be able to dive under that arrow fire. Even if I die, I'm still delaying, hurting, doing some eco damage, right? But with Mangada, I can't, right? I have to just watch. And so that 40 seconds, 1 minute of watching can be a pretty big difference. So we do see the stone outcropping has been mined heavily. And we know we need to keep tabs on this, right? We see the storehouse is tapping up, but we see that he's doing some sort of 2TC play, right? We see him mine a little bit for just a daimyo, right? He mined a lot. And so that was a daimyo manor and a 2TC. So he's mined a lot of stones. And we do have to be careful about this building because it's doing 8 times 2 damage, right? So it's got an extra arrow and does quite a bit of damage. We've got our stable up, and because we did see this as a 2TC play, we're sending a villager over to go build this market because it's just to start catching up if he starts getting the second TC. We built our double production Keshiks that are on the way. We built a scout that is on the way. That's to help keep vision on both sides. As you can see, you want to be able to see your opponent's base and get a really good idea of what he's doing. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. And like this, I can see this wall going up. I can see this coming up. He's over here harassing me. I should have microed my con a little bit better here. And so we're gonna come in and try to get some damage in. He's building walls with these villagers. And again, not a ton of damage, but enough to delay a little bit. This guy is aggroing the wrong vill. A little bit unfortunate, but whatever. Pretty good micro by our opponent. He's able to save himself bills, and he only loses one. My con, I needed to micro this a lot better and do stuff with him. And though I lose these two Keshiks, I've slowed this down a lot, done one villager worth of damage, which is significant because I'm on 24 villagers right now, 25, and I've got my Uwus. Technically, I'm on 27 villagers. Markets is up, so that's a big discrepancy in vill counts, and this is pre anything going on, right? So he's rotating over here to second TC. We don't really know this. We can't really dive under here really efficiently anymore because there's so much pop space. So we got to keep control of this gold node. And we know that he's not on this one, right? So we come over here and we find the second TC's coming up. So we're going to go ahead and attack this. And it's so early and there's two Keshiks here. You got to cancel this. So we do kill another vill. Micro's a little bit sloppy here and we pick off another one. Probably could have been a whole nother vill too. So a little bit unfortunate. He does start tapping up this. I should have taken these Keshiks in immediately. This delay here was probably a bad idea. I didn't think he was going to go for it that quickly. I thought he was going to pull it further back or something, but no, he's pretty ballsy with it. And really poor charge by the Keshik here, but yeah, a lot of vills fit inside, right? 15 of them. So we're able to kill one vill off of this, and then this Curl Star House is going to fit the other vills here. The plus side is all of these vills are idle. Like, this raid started what? I mean, it's 8:15 now. At least 10 seconds ago. At least. We'll say at least 50. I'd say 15 seconds. Like, at 8 minutes, we'll say 15 seconds. We'll say at 8 minutes we started this raid. All the way to basically, and these guys are building, right? You could almost say because of this raid, you've extended the idle time for all of these vills. It's almost 30 seconds at this point, right? Because now these vills are still building. They haven't been gathering resources. Look at his resources, right? They're suffering. So, pretty big deal. Third round of Keshiks comes in. Actually, our fourth round of Keshiks comes in, and these guys come into idle even more. So, just when he's like got that second TC up and doing something, we're throwing away those Keshiks, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're idling him, and that's really big. So. This Keshik's in the very corner, and he's just happily burning away. Only bad thing is he micros onto these guys every now and then. I probably should have just like forced him to stick onto that one spot, so a little bit bad on my part. Also, losing those couple Keshiks might have been better just to sit back and like come in and out, find the villager building the barracks. Right, that's the key. So he does a good job pulling the aggro on this Keshik and killing us here. Behind this, though, we're on one market instead of double market. We don't want to get too greedy. It is pretty expensive. And we're setting up a tower on the other side, so just kind of setting up for safety just in case he starts harassing us. Though I do feel like I've got him pretty hemmed into his base. And we're dropping a blacksmith now, so. And we're over on Deer Patch. And yeah, so we're sitting in a comfortable spot with our eco lead. We've killed 4 vills, but he is on 2 TC, right? So he's going to scale really well. We have to get good pressure and we have to keep harassing, right? So we're taking our catching over and around. We're trying to find a spot. And the spearmen are doing a good job of kind of screening. We wanted to burn the house here and bait these spearmen to come out, and we're able to bait the spearmen, but that last shot that hits my Keshik, I don't know how that. Like, I'm like over here when that arrow shoots, so pretty wonky range for that daimyo manner. But anyways, nothing you can really do about it. Trade is still going up to 5 traders, a little bit slower because we're only on one market, but that means less investment in our trade and more investment on our units. But this time we're going to go up to age 2 or age 3. We don't want to overcommit into units like we did last time. Have him fast castle behind this 2TC and put us in a weird spot like last time. Do transition some villagers over to this next wood line. This spawn, though really safe for gold and stone, did require a fairly early pull over to wood. Well, we pull our gold villagers and some of our food villagers to start tapping up this this curl tie. It's going to really help us solidify the siege and forward position that we've got. We do spot these guys moving over and around, and I'm worried that he's flanking up. I'm going to try to hit my trade over here. We move our scout into the stealth force so he can't seize us, and we can get a good vision here on this gold and can tell what's happening. Armies are almost equal at this point, but we're in castle, right, and he's nowhere near castle, so that's the one big difference, right? So now, kind of like what we were the other game, and him putting up that tech advantage difference puts him in an uncomfortable spot, right? Even though he's scaling well with 2 TCs, but only just now is he kind of catching up to our eco, and our market is still going, right? And it's helping to keep that gap as it is, right? Town center idle stuff is kind of a mistake, but it just is what it is. We do spot this coming up. We are going to pull this one scout to block this this palisade in a sneaky manner without alerting any attack pings. And we just have him stand ground here. I think that's blocking. Yeah, so it's completely blocked. Over here in the front, we get some aggro in. We kill another villager, which is nice. And he killed a villager with his horseman? Or a trader? One of the two. Transitioning into pastures, we're going to bring a curl tie up. We're moving this Gur over to the deer patch. We've got our veteran upgrades complete. He's looking to go castle. That's why he's floating so much food and gold. Ecos are still maintaining different. And our trade is starting to really get online now, right? We've got 10. So after 10, it really starts kicking on. I think at this point I probably could have committed to a couple more markets. But again, I had a lot of villagers on wood, but I felt like I needed more buildings to start macroing for my army properly. He does notice the scout, and he does take me out. Over here, he pushes my tower with my one villager as he sees my army come in. And we're just trying to harass him on this gold because we see this gold over here. So a little bit of damage. He's got no archer units. That puts him in a rough spot for sure. He's also got to be careful with his wood because he needs to farm transition, right? He doesn't have food to go to. So he's able to kill this one villager. And a little bit unfortunate, but we're not in too bad of a spot here. We do run into his army over here. Get a good engage with our Keshiks and our horsemen here. And I think we're able to snipe that last one. No, we're not. So either way, though, we can just kite this army, right? And he's not going to be able to do much. And we are dropping our infrastructure now. Late. It's better late than never, but 3 stables. And we're going with 4 ranges. So that's going to help. Rallying villages under our TC. We're a little bit sloppy with our food. Because we should queue up a couple of villages here to make sure we don't run out. And our trade has just started to come back online. So we're very inconsistent with our trade production. And because we're so inconsistent with that trade production, our opponent's able to close this gap. If we do it properly, he's never able to close this gap because the market's producing as fast as the second TC is. Veteran Mangata are coming out. Balanced projectiles are coming out. I think pulling a villager to drop a couple markets over there would definitely be Hestus. So at this point, now he's gone for castle. We're about the same resources, but I know army-wise, there's no way that he's got this army, is gone to castle, and he's gonna be able to compete with my army now, right? So sure he's getting his damage upgrades, but he's got to catch my army to do that, and we're just harassing at this point, right? He's doing other macro things. He loses a couple more builds. This is where that, even though he's on 2TC, just constantly using units is very painful. And we're able to just kite here and mess up more armies, sending more units on there. We're starting to really get our macro in a good spot now and have units heading over to come attack. The market is a little bit more online now that our eco is sitting in a better spot. And I would like to see our town center more active. That's the only bad part. He's getting his upgrades. He's getting his +2 arrow defense, as he should. We do have our +2 attack on arrows, so a little bit of extra damage where we can. But that's going to be going here shortly. And again, we're just aggroing on these gold vills as much as we can. Getting them to commit to us. Our knights will take some damage, and he's just getting, idle time. He's going to pull these villagers over to get onto this gold, which is a smart idea. And behind this, we're just starting to send a lot more units across because our production buildings are in a lot better spot now. And we do drop a couple more ranges, so we go up to 7 ranges. He's got a lot of units, but he's committing to melee. He's not committing to archers. So we want to get as much damage as we possibly can with our Mangadai and our units. We do drop the defense arrow. I thought he was a lot closer to hitting us. I mean, he does get a couple of hits in. I think that defense arrow actually keeps a couple of these Mangadai alive, right? So we're able to screen this army, and now that these are veteran Mangadai, they actually do some damage to these mounted samurai, right? They have 5 ranged armor, and the Mangadai are doing 10, so they're actually doing 5 damage a hit instead of 1 damage a hit, which was a lot worse right before. So he was kind of used to being able to just have me kite and do nothing, but now that we're a veteran, we can actually do some serious damage. Behind us, we did pull a couple of units, and 3 horsemen and a Keshik, got a couple kills back here. And behind this, we're chewing up his army, right? Army value is kind of switched. We're a little bit ahead, and yeah, he's getting in a tougher. He's getting put in a rougher spot. He has got a bunch of villagers on berries, which is a smart move. One thing that I could have done a lot better was dropping more outposts throughout this map, besides the additional markets. So definitely some things. We are starting to pick up our own relics at this point. And we are going to bring a bunch of villagers over to steal his boar. So even though he's taking my berries, I'm going to start taking his boar. So, and I guess it's kind of just a map control thing, right? If you have it, you have it. And even if you don't have it, if you can get away with it, you can get away with it, right? So over here, we have a big army. Of our 5,000 army value, like this is a significant part of it. But his whole army is basically chasing us here. We know that this is his whole army chasing us. And we have a decent amount of units here. We did bring 4 villagers up to start building forward infrastructure, siege works in particular. And we take a little bit of a fight here. We gotta be careful. We try to micro out, and the units that are caught behind are just derping around and stay caught behind. We stay out of the Wololo, not too worried about it. And we're gonna be able to idle his gold income. Behind this, we dive his main base. These Mangadai probably should have stayed out of the fight or come around the back to come help these guys instead of just having them die under this TC fire. So a little bit of a mistake on my part, not noticing that these guys were about to run out. 5 more Keshiks to these Mangadai would really help with the DPS and being able to take out these units here. So yeah, a little bit of a mistake on my part, but we do pull these units a little bit forward, take a couple more vills. His eco super idle. We've killed 30 villagers, and at this point, this game is pretty much over, right? Forward Ubu drop infrastructure. So yeah, we trade really well, and yeah, we're just gonna take this army and wrap around the back. He does try to put Onamusha on us, but the Onamusha will trade really poorly with the Mangadai. Um, if they ever come to fighting, right? Um, we do have our first shaman out, so we're a little bit behind on that. And he hasn't been able to bring that shaman. Oh, he brought that shaman, but he dropped the relic on the ground, so he hasn't used it besides the roll. He doesn't have a place to store it, right? So our units should just dive here. We're causing a lot of idle time, and that's pretty much it. We do find a couple of villagers out here on the edges, and getting a couple more kills is always nice, but this is kind of like, yeah, it's just kind of a foregone conclusion. Siege works are coming up. Um, he is going to go down these berries, which is super greedy, but I guess he wasn't expecting the trade, or he didn't realize we were trading. He has been pushed into his base basically this whole time, but we traded out our whole army, and we still have a 3,000 army value cost, and they're heading over on the way. Um, but if he tries to push out and he loses, like, he's going to be in a really rough spot, right? So we're in a comfortable spot. We got a couple of siege workshops. We're going to get a Mangano out, really secure our damage against an army. We don't think he's going to have a really big army, even not even to mention affording siege workshops, right? So we're going to go for double trebs with the Uvu. And that's just so we can siege things down quickly, because we got a TC to chew through, and a main TC, right? We do see these berries over here being collected, and we're going to rally our Mangadai up here to clear these out real quick. He's noticed the trade. He's sending a mounted samurai over, which is a good move. Now that I see that he's spotted this too, I thought he might be doing this temporarily and he was going to wall me or something like that, you know, which would have been the best move if he walled me, right? I mean, I guess I could have put all my bills, or, you know, dropped into the market and started trading there, but either way, he does a good job of reacting, trying to save these vills, but we get in here tight with his army and start killing them here. He tries to push our army here, and he gets hit with that mango shot, does a lot of damage to those Yumis, and he loses these villagers back here. His knight samurai is getting attacked by this Mangadai, will eventually die, and so he does tap out. So same opponent, different kind of a playstyle, different kind of an opening as well by him, by both of us, and a little bit of a different outcome. So it was just a couple of matches. So we're officially placed. I think we placed Diamond 3, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so we placed Diamond 3. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to start playing Mongols on ranked, like I usually do, and start filling out the other civs, how their strength is compared to them. And then I'm working also on some Byzantine builds. And I do want to do the Japanese as well. As you saw, they have some really cool mounted cavalry, and with the Onamusha, we can play a comp really similar to mine that will be pretty fun to do. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.